Hello, friends, family, and common sensors. This is Joe Palmetto, Joe the lawyer at the Common Sense Academy. Today, we're going to be talking about a news article out of my home state, the great state. I'm sorry, the great Commonwealth. It's actually a Commonwealth, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which also happens to be the Moorish sovereign citizen capital of the world, at least from what I can see. The article today we're going to cover: anti-government activist heads to trial for incident with officer. It's kind of funny they call this person an anti-government activist. This writer is obviously not that familiar with the sovereign citizen movement, because what we're actually dealing with here is a Moorish sovereign citizen. So before we dig into the article, grab your cup, your glass, your jug, your canteen, whatever beverage it is that you are drinking today and that you would like to share with me. Today I am drinking my coffee, which is the greatest beverage ever created by man. Well, I am sure some of you will disagree with me on that. I don't like to drink alcohol as much as I used to, so I am now a coffee guy, a caffeine addict. Raise it in the air because it tastes better when we sip together. Cheers. Delicious. Okay, anti-government activist heads to trial for incident with officer. This is out of Westchester, which is right around the Philadelphia area of Pennsylvania, which is eastern PA. The criminal trial of a former Immaculatus University student who has espoused anti-government views and questioned the legitimacy of the court proceedings against her opened with jury selection Monday in Chester County. Now, this article is from January 28th, so we may actually have a verdict on this, which I'm going to check at the end. Janae Rebecca Smith, 28, of Philadelphia, is accused of dragging a police officer down a street with the car she was driving following a routine traffic stop in Malvern 2 years ago, a felony for which she faces a maximum prison term of more than 90 years if convicted. The officer suffered moderate injuries in the incident. Okay, we're going to look her up at the end. Smith, who in the past has claimed to be a member of the Moorish American movement, is representing herself in the trial before Judge Jacqueline Carroll Cody, but has found herself in repeated disputes over mining sticking points. Oh, what a surprise when you're dealing with a sovereign. Such as what her name is, one of the minor sticking points, what her name is, with the judge, since she fired her previous attorney, County Assistant Public Defender Peter Jers. She will now act as her standby counsel as Smith represents herself. So a quick pause. For sovereign citizens, but also for other individuals who prefer to proceed to trial without an attorney, pro se, judges will often create standby counsel to have a public defender who will sit next to this person by the trial to answer questions and to give them some sort of advice. It helps things go smoother because let me tell you, a straight trial with a pro se person can be a procedural nightmare. So the attorney can help avoid some of those gaps, even if they're only acting as an ear for that pro se litigant to bounce things off of. Judges like it. It makes things go smoother, and it also protects them from weird appealable issues. Judge said, "You understand you will be totally on your own and that I cannot assist you," the judge asked, advising her that she would be better served with a lawyer presenting her case. "Yes, that's correct," Smith answered. According to the SPLC, a national organization tracks fringe movement, the Moorish Americans are a collection of independent organizations and lone individuals that emerged in the early 1990s as an offshoot of the anti-government sovereign citizens movement, which believes that individual citizens hold sovereignty over and are independent of the authority of federal and state governments. Among such things, such individuals refuse to acknowledge the need to obtain a driver's licenses, register their vehicles, or submit to traffic laws, because they contend those laws are only for conveyances that are engaged in commercial dealings. Some also contend they can copyright or trademark their names and keep others from publicly identifying them. Smith allegedly told officers the night of the incident that she did not have to show any driver's ID because she was not driving, as that is an act of commerce, and she was not engaged in any such activity. She's facing charges of aggravated assault of a police officer, recklessly endangering another person, fleeing or attempting to elude, resisting arrest, and related charges from the December 20th incident at Immaculata campus where she was a student. According to the criminal complaint filed against Smith by Officer Stephen Walker, the incident began around 9:10 p.m. on December 20th when Officer Tyler Burry saw a black Chevrolet Monte Carlo run through a stop sign on Sugartown Road. Burry followed the car and watched as the driver failed to stop at 3 stop signs along King Street in the borough. When the Monte Carlo turned into the Malvern Shopping Center, Burry approached and knocked on the driver's side door to get the driver's attention. Let's remember, friends, family, and common sensors, this was going to be a traffic ticket. This was going to be a traffic ticket, even if she did run 3 stop signs. He asked for a driver's license. She insisted she was an American national and provided only a self-issued, non-state ID card, which listed her as Janae Rebecca Bay. Many of you have probably seen these cards, these fake Moorish ID cards. Moorish American followers many times used the surname Bay after one of the movement's early leaders, Taj Tariq Bey. When Burry could find no record of a driver's license for Smith, he was joined by Officer Patrick Doherty. They requested ID, which Smith allegedly refused to provide. When Doherty told her she would be detained until she proved valid identification, that's an old auditor move there, she refused to exit the car. The officers then both tried to forcibly remove her, but as she struggled, she was able to rev the engine and put the car in drive. It accelerated away. It sounded like somebody needed to smash a window here, and these officers may have been hesitant to do that. Doherty, who had grasped onto Smith's arm, was dragged 10 to 15 feet by the car before rolling away onto the pavement. Smith drove from the scene but was stopped by Tredyffrin police about 30 minutes later and taken into custody. Doherty missed about 1 week of work after being treated for his injuries. Smith was held on bail in Chester County Prison for 7 days after her arrest. While there, she wrote to a judge who was to hear her bail motion that she took issue with. And she took issue with the jurisdiction of the courts of Pennsylvania and the United States. In the letter, she argued against the notion of American citizenship, stating she was part of the Moor Nation and questioned whether there was any justification for her being held for trial. Oh, you know what? Go ahead. If you renounce your citizenship, you open yourself up to being deported. I am Janae Rebecca Bay, Moorish American, Aboriginal, and Indigenous to the land, the letter reads. I will note here that Indigenous was spelled incorrectly, I-N-D-I. It's I-N-D-E. I am in propria persona as myself for myself, free white person at law, she wrote in the 3-page missive. I am not a 14th Amendment construct or artificial person. I am a declared national. I am an African descendant, not U.S. citizen, as U.S. citizenship is unlawful pursuant to the Constitution, Article 13. Opening statements are scheduled for Tuesday, with the trial expected to last at least 2 days. Well, what that tells me is that the trial may in fact be over. One nice thing about this case being in Pennsylvania is that I know how to look it up. Other states, I don't. Pennsylvania, I do. So let's take a couple of minutes here and let's see what happened to Miss Bay. Miss Smith, Miss Bay, yeah, Miss Bay's case out in Chester County. The funniest part about this is that they call her an anti-government activist. I think that's being fairly I don't know, a little too nice to the sovereign citizens, calling them activists. Okay, so the case was adjudicated. That means that a verdict was given, but she has not yet been sentenced. If it says adjudicated, it means she was found guilty. Let's see. Okay, wow. She had a total of 20 charges. Two of them were dismissed at the lower court. And then she had her trial. Let's see what happened at the trial. Jury verdict slip filed 129. Um, hmm. Why am I having trouble seeing this? These dockets out in these other counties are a little bit different. Held for court, held for court, held for court. Offense date, offense date. Da, 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 da. I cannot see on the docket whether she was convicted or what she was at. Pre-sentence investigation order, jury verdict slip filed January 29th. This article was on the 28th. The trial went for 1 day or a half day. It was completed on the 29th. I can tell you, because a pre-sentence investigation was ordered, she was found guilty. Now, I don't know how many charges or exactly which charges she was found guilty of, which is a bit strange because all the dockets I've ever seen actually show, even while the case is adjudicated but not yet sentenced and completed. Most dockets usually show, but Chester County doesn't show that. So I can tell you, though, her trial was held on January 29th, and she was convicted. So she may be enjoying some time in jail. She was hit with a boatload of charges, and let me tell you, that sovereign citizen stuff doesn't gain you any favors when it comes to sentencing. I hope you enjoyed this update here at the Common Sense Academy. The Moors are everywhere, especially in the great home state of Joe Palmetto, Joe the Lawyer, and the Common Sense Academy. They can be dangerous. This just highlights all the insanity that goes on with the sovereign citizen movement. We're here to shine a light on it, along with a whole bunch of other channels. I hope that everybody learns from this, awareness spreads, and we can try to, sort of eradicate at least some of this nonsense. If you like my channel, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Sharing my videos is perhaps the best way to support this channel in a free and easy manner. It gets me greater exposure. I also have an email list. Sign up for my email list, and you'll get a free PDF, History and Examination of the Sovereign Citizen Movement, plus a bunch of free stuff. Another Moor goes to jail. Thank you.